All right, diving into the Palace of Holyroodhouse today.
Yeah.
We're not just going to be like, oh, pretty building.
Right.
We're going deeper.
Yeah.
We've got articles. We've got even that Cooey post that is going around, and even some of those top experiences lists.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting, when you think about a place like Holyroodhouse,
Yeah.
what's often overlooked is the dynastic element.
Oh, okay.
The Stuarts, in this case, King Charles I, a really prominent figure,
Yeah.
they held court there for over a century.
Wow.
So, think about the secrets those walls hold.
Over a century. That's a lot of time for things to go down.
Right.
Were we talking like Game of Thrones level stuff here?
Well, you have the murder of David Rizzio.
Oh, wow.
Right in the palace. Mary, Queen of Scots' private secretary, stabbed to death, allegedly in front of Mary. That's a power struggle, if I've ever heard of one.
Yeah, for sure.
Pretty intense.
So, okay, we're talking about a place that is, obviously very historically significant, but also the sources are mentioning, the gardens and the architecture.
Yeah.
Were those just kind of for show back then? Or did they actually serve a purpose?
Back then, imagine a sprawling garden.
Right.
Elaborate.
Yeah.
That was a display of power.
Oh, okay.
Wealth.
Interesting.
It's fascinating how even today we see this idea of exclusivity.
Yeah.
Those top experiences in Scotland, things people are drawn to.
Oh, because it's like a limited...
What's rare, what's sought after, exactly.
Oh, that's so interesting. So they're like, you can come here, but you can't come here. That makes it even more desirable.
All right.
Oh, I like that. Okay, now this is where I'm getting really interested because we're talking about historical artifacts inside Holyroodhouse. Like, we're talking about things that were actually held by, touched by, the people that lived and worked there.
Well, you have, Mary, Queen of Scots rosary beads.
Oh, wow.
A tangible link to her faith.
Oh,
personal, amidst all the turmoil, right?
Yeah.
That was going on. It's not just an object, it's a window into the past.
It's like you're holding a piece of history in your hand.
Speaking of connections to the past, we can't forget about Balmoral, right? Another royal residence, but now very much associated with King Charles.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
So how does it compare to Holyroodhouse?
Each one reflects the monarch. Holyroodhouse, that's the grandeur of the Stuarts, all the tumult of that era.
Yeah.
Then you've got Balmoral with its Victorian influences.
Okay.
A different chapter in the monarchy's story.
Right.
Fascinating study in contrasts.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So we've talked about these different eras and monarchs, but what was daily life really like at Holyroodhouse, say, during, King Charles I's time?
Okay, so picture this bustling kitchens preparing these lavish feasts.
Okay.
Courtiers vying for the king's favor.
Oh, yeah.
Music maybe echoing through the halls during these grand balls.
Holyroodhouse was this microcosm of the court. A stage for all this political maneuvering and everyday life all at once.
It's a little bit different from that Cooey post with that one person all alone wandering the palace, huh?
Yeah, that's what's so interesting, thinking about how access to places like this has changed.
Right.
Back then, it was strictly for the elite.
Oh, for sure.
Today, we can wander through these historic spaces, appreciate the architecture,
Yeah.
learn from the artifacts, but then forget it, only a select few.
Wow. It really makes you realize that the fame of Holyroodhouse, it's not just about, it being beautiful or the royal connections.
Yeah.
It's like the history embedded in the walls.
Exactly. It's like peeling back an onion, layer upon layer of stories, each one adding to this rich, complex narrative.
So, okay, if someone's visiting Holyroodhouse today, what would you say is the key to really, experiencing it? How do you really get it?
I would encourage them to look beyond the surface.
Well,
imagine the lives lived within those walls.
Yeah.
Picture Mary, Queen of Scots, pacing anxiously as she awaits news of her fate.
Oh, wow.
Listen for the echoes of these political debates that raged in those chambers.
So it's not about just checking things off those lists.
Right.
It's like you're really engaging with it.
Yeah, engage with the history. That's what those artifacts are for.
Oh, okay.
That tangible connection to the past, connect with the individuals who shaped this place.
You mentioned Mary, Queen of Scots rosary beads earlier.
Yes.
Are there any other artifacts that really stand out to you?
For me, the Darnley jewel.
Good.
It's this heart-shaped pendant
Oh, wow.
commissioned by Mary's husband, Lord Darnley.
Okay.
The symbolism, the artistry, it just gives you a glimpse into the courtly culture
Uh-huh.
and their complex relationship.
Yeah, it's like each artifact is a puzzle piece, and you're putting it together to get the full picture.
Yeah.
It's amazing, like these things that transport you back. You feel connected to the people.
Absolutely. And that's what makes exploring somewhere like this so much more than a sightseeing trip. It's a journey through time.
Yeah.
All those stories whispering to you.
We started off talking about, those top experiences lists.
Right.
But I feel like we went way deeper.
Definitely. It's not just a pretty building.
Yeah.
It's a living, breathing testament to all those powerful dynasties. The historical drama, the exclusivity.
If those walls could talk, oh, man.
Right. The stories they could tell.
No.
Mary, Queen of Scots, imagine her pleas as her enemies are closing in.
Yeah.
Or those courtiers plotting in the shadows. The music, the laughter in those grand halls.
It makes you realize that history's not just stuff in a textbook.
No, no.
These are real people.
Real people living their lives.
With passions and heartbreaks.
Holyroodhouse saw it all.
So to everyone listening, as you explore, remember, every place has a story waiting to be discovered. Don't just look at the surface. Dig a little deeper. Ask questions. Imagine the lives that were lived in these spaces.
Right.
You never know what secrets you might find